Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. In this video I'll be covering the latest online time trial to come to GT7. This time around we've got the brand new track Lake Louise featuring as the main showcase of the event, featuring the plucky little Toyota Yaris GR. Now I'm not going to use this as a full-blown guide, it's going to be more of an overview. I'll still go through my fastest lap and give you some general hints and tips. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so up first, let's have a quick overview of the event itself. As you can see, it's a lap time challenge at Lake Louise Long Track using the Toyota GR Yaris RZ High Performance from 2020. So I feel like this track's really kind of overly featured in terms of license tests, the circuit experience, and now obviously a time trial. It's like the third time around. In terms of the event itself, as you can see, we've got usable tyres as snow only, wide body prohibited, no knot or overtake. We've got the regulations with a specified car. BOP set to high speed, car settings are specified, and here's the penalty settings. So shortcut and hitting the barrier will invalidate it. So in terms of general tips and tricks, here we go. So the car we're using here doesn't have the torque distributor that most of the sort of, I guess, rally cars that you'd see actually hitting up this track have. However, it does have the option to put on the traction control. This very much do not do. In terms of getting a bit of a better understanding of the track or the layout, I do recommend going ahead and booting up a replay of maybe some of the faster laps. This way you can just sort of get a basic idea really of where people are sort of making up the time and where they're losing it. In terms of loading up a ghost, that's rather easy to do. You can do that whilst you're in the event. The reason I recommend running a ghost if you're not very confident is just to kind of learn the lines that everyone's taking. Kind of this way you've got sort of a reference to follow, and if you're either closer or further away from it, that your lap's either going to be better or worse than the previous. So if you're not very confident, I do recommend doing those. However, if you are confident, there's no real reason. Sometimes the ghost can be rather quite distracting, especially if you're on a fairly quick lap. It can get in the way. So for me personally, I'd rather just avoid them, but for those that might be maybe new to the online time trials, just don't bother. In terms of my overall fastest lap, I did a 146.671. Plenty of time on offer to grab here, so definitely feel like I could easily make up a good few more attempts rather quite easily. So let's jump on board and we'll have a look at my quickest lap, which was that obviously 146.671. So I'd definitely say your lap actually starts at the end corner of the lap. This way you need to be lining yourself up for a good run down the rather quite long main straight. You got a little bit of a bump as you go over the line, and then you're looking for your turning angle, or start point should I say, which should be the little sort of yellow barrels. Now you want to take the car out nice and wide. As you can see, I'm actually going to have the car gain a ton of grip, which is going to start to rotate the front end the opposite way from the way that I actually want it to. I'm then going to short shift to try and get the car pointing once again in the right direction. We're then going to bring it out nice and wide and line up for this right-hander here, which is going to take us into an instant left-hander. So we're going to go nice and on the inside of that corner, downshift, kick the rear end out, and then we're going to kind of, get it out wide, run up the hill, and then work our way up through the gears. Now, you've got probably the most awkward corner on the track. I recommend bringing it out nice and wide, and then start aiming inwards, and then hit the brakes so you start to rotate the rear end. As you can see, I'm bringing the brakes in. The rear end's going to kick out, and then we're going to go down the gears to get the rear end sort of, staying outwards. As you can see, again, the car's just going to catch some grip, which is rather quite frustrating if it does it in the middle of a corner. This way it can really sort of upset the balance of the vehicle and the direction that you're heading in. We're going to keep it in third gear and then drop it into second for a slight moment for this left-hander here before short shifting and then getting a decent exit on up through this section here. Now just be warned, it's rather quite bumpy for a lot of the road cars here. At least with the Yaris it's not as bad as some other vehicles, but you can definitely kind of get thrown off down that main straight. Into the right hander, it's again a really awkward one. We're going to downshift into third and try and bring it out as wide as possible. Once again, we're not going to quite get the perfect angle, however we are going to get a much better angle than I had been for a lot of my other runs. Again, a really awkward corner, up through the gears, flat out through the left hand hander, bring it out nice and wide, and then really hard on the brakes for this left hander here. So again, we're going to rotate the rear of the car. I'm going to short shift in a second, as you can see, to maintain grip over to the left and get ready for the right hander to finish off this lap. Once again, short shifting. I recommend sort of really chopping up that banking without hitting it. This way you're going to get a nice run down the main straight and save yourself a ton of time. So there we go, up across the line, 146.671 with plenty of time on offer, considering that the car was really sort of gaining grip at the most awkward of moments. So hopefully this basic overview gives you a good idea of, you know, the new 2 million credit time trial, and, you know, hopefully with a bit of practice you guys can quite easily get the gold, although it's quite an awkward one to be consistent at, and the car itself probably isn't the best choice, although it is a rather decent choice and quite easy to drive. It can be a little bit of a pain to just get those laps spot on. Like I said, I think there's a fair few tenths there that I can gain, maybe into the 145s or high 145s, if I really kind of put my mind to it. So yeah, that's a new latest online time trial for GT7. Definitely an enjoyable one, but I do feel like, you know, I've seen enough of the snow in this last week with the circuit experience, the licenses and such. So hopefully this will be the last of it for a while. That's going to be it from me, and I will see you later on. Take care, guys. Peace.